let's go across to A. Balasubramanian, MD, CEO, Aditya Birla Sun Life. Bala, welcome to NDTV Profit. All the doubts are now behind. We have certainty and continuity. What's your reaction to the list of portfolios given to all the ministers? Okay, I think we lost connection with A. Bala. We will try and reconnect. So, an important point that is being made is that every industry wants to focus on growth. Now, there are two factors to this. One, you can ride on the growth path if you have capex coming in. Now, who's putting in capex? There are very big groups that are putting in capex, and Adani Group is the biggest of all the industry players who are putting in huge amount of capex. You know, it's running into billions of dollars, which is why the markets love and to focus on the Adani Group of stocks, and that's a fact everybody knows. Okay, we have got Bala back on air. Bala, thanks for joining us. We lost your connection. What's your first reaction to the portfolios that have been allocated?
I think probably, I think clearly the continuity factor has been maintained. Probably the key portfolios where each of the ministries in the last 5 years have done a great job in the respective area of assignment that they had. Whether it is finance, whether it is defense, whether it is home ministry, whether it is commerce, whether it is external affairs. Some of those key ministries have been primarily responsible for upbringing the economic growth as well as upbringing the overall image of the country in multiple ways. So therefore, the continuity factors they are maintained on those key ministries without making any changes, including Commerce Ministry with Piyush Goyal is heading it, which is my view is good, and which is what my expectations as well before the actual announcement was coming in. So I felt that probably the continuity factor will be the one which will be maintained while forming the portfolio's allocation. So that I think it's a good news. I think even from broader market point of view, the continuity factors will definitely give much more. They don't need to reinvent the wheel, and the overall the roadmap that they had laid out as respective ministers, I think will continue. Probably will gain more strength and also gain more speed on the left out implementation point of view. Therefore, execution could also become faster given the fact they know the dynamics of each of the ministries, and therefore they'll be able to push it forward most of the reforms or maybe most of the execution they were supposed to do. I think it'll only do good, and probably even from an investor's point of view, this will be seen on a very positive light.
Right. Let me come back to you on this question of fundamentals. You know, I'm not talking about company fundamentals. If I look at fundamentals of the industry, which are the core areas you think the Modi 3.0 government action plan will focus on?
I think from industry point of view, I think before even the formation of the ministries, they have made an announcement with respect to the rural housing sectors. I would probably assume that the rural sectors will get the flip, whether it is for housing, even for urban housing. I think that probably would get higher flip. And second is some of the sectors which have gained a significant attention of the government in the last few years, especially power and power-related sectors, will probably gain more strength, given the fact that to make India self-sufficient on energy segment, I think that will probably get more flip. And agriculture sectors, now they're given a separate ministry for the agriculture sectors, also would get will draw their attention, especially the agriculture sectors go through a lot of natural vagaries. At the same time, key sectors from boosting the both consumption point of view as well as for increasing the rural income point of view. Maybe that sector also, in my own belief, will get higher attention.
Right. Mr. Bala, Smriti joining in here as well. Just wanted to check if, so we have now this cabinet out of the way. Now, we have seen FIIs that have started to come back to the markets as well. But does that now mean this is now the focus will now shift to
Okay, I think I have to interrupt here, Bala. We have the Minister of State for Power, Mr. Shripad Nayak. Mr. Nayak, thanks for joining us. Mr. Nayak.
Thank you.
Namaskar, thank you and congratulations. You have a very major important task ahead. What's your first take? What are your thoughts for the power sector? Mr. Nayak? Mr. Nayak, can you hear us? I think we have lost connection. Yeah, yes. Mr. Nayak, can you hear us? Yeah, no, so my first question is congratulations. You are holding an important portfolio of an important ministry. What are your thoughts on how would you take the power ministry forward? Okay, fine. So I think there is a problem with the phone line again. Must be a very busy day,
Right.
I guess, for all the ministers. We'll try and connect with him again. And let's go back to Bala. Sorry, Bala, we had to interrupt you. You were sharing your thoughts.
Sure.
Oh, right. So, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You are asking a question.
Yes, I was kind of trying to understand if now this is over in terms of FIIs now to come back to India. We have already seen that start out after the elections results as well. But do you think now the focus for the FIIs will shift to other factors like, you know, the global factors essentially, and budget definitely remains something to watch out for?
So I think FIIs took a contra bet, having been the large investor in India and especially emerging market, and India had been having the large allocation. And there was always a debate about valuations, and therefore they were on the sell side all these times. At the same time, the reinforcement of confidence, which again coming back on India, and there is also coinciding factor which is coming in the global market is the possible rate cut, which in any case has been set out by Canada and other countries also when they start getting into the interest rate reduction mode. Then naturally emerging market, and within that India would become the major focus for FIIs. So my own belief is FIIs flows will get reversed now that there is a clear roadmap for the next 5 years in terms of one, the economic growth, second is companies' earnings which could get better, and in all respect, I think the growth momentum is going to continue. Valuation will always remain a point of discussion, and my own belief is I think you go across and look at assessment of India growth story from overseas investors' point of view. I think more and more investors globally are looking at India as one of the best investment destinations for a decade to come, and those who are not present in India growth story, definitely they have to increase allocation. That's why I get to now hear most of the India dedicated funds would come in the radar of getting money into the country, and that's something seems to be emerging post the election outcome.
Right. So Bala, this is an important juncture for an investor, especially for retail investors. I mean, the latest data today showed that for the month of May, mutual fund investors invested roughly 37,000 crores, I think, which is perhaps the highest on a month-on-month basis in the history of mutual funds. The challenge here is that where will you deploy money? You know, if there is more and more money coming, the challenge of excessive valuation is going to be there. And from tomorrow, after the initial, comfort level settles down, the challenge of deploying money is going to be there.
Yeah, only I think this problem has always been there, whether it is today or whether it has been about say 2-3 years back. So one of the things that my own belief is happening in our Indian market is the market breadth and width have been expanding, and more companies are able to tap the capital market. If you look at the last 2 years, the number of companies would have got newly listed in the market now having created close to about anywhere between 7 to 8 lakh crore market cap by the newly listed company, which essentially means supply of paper.
Thank Mr. A. Balasubramanian for joining us on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us here on NDTV Profit.
Thank you. Thank you.